Good afternoon. In this video, I want to briefly wish a happy Brexit day to our British cousins who have, after 3 hard years of fighting against the establishment, fighting against all those who wanted to stay with the EU, which is a corrupt, wicked organization. When the British first joined the EU, it was just as a trading organization. Now the EU is talking about even forming its own army and its own flag, its own anthem. They've forbidden countries to have national representation, like flags on there when they're sitting in the parliament. Even the UN has distinctions between nations. It's not the EU. They're trying to form something that can't be formed peacefully, because these nations are separate nations. The EU is growing has grown into a monster where it has no qualms about using force to impose its will. And fortunately, the UK had the courage and the nerve and the distinction to break away, despite all the opposition, all the elites, all the media, all the politicians who were against it, and then of course they dragged their feet for 3 years and they fought against it, and they tried to reconcile the Remainers so not to offend them and everything else. It was supposed to be a great celebration tonight, just like our July 4th, where Adam said that July 4th will be celebrated. Every July 4th we celebrated with a celebration of fireworks and things like that, which it is. So, as Christians, we welcome individual national sovereignty. When these morons, faith works people, they went to who were against what they call race mixing, they went to Act 17. It had nothing to do with race mixing, you half-wits. It has to do with internationalism. Internationalism, not race mixing. And that's why the Christian will always stand, the Bible-believing Christian will always stand for a nationalistic form of government where nations based on various issues, culture, and political issues, will have their own nation and sovereignty. So today's a day of celebration. It's a blow against tyranny. It's something we should celebrate. And you notice one thing about the English-speaking people. If you look at Australia, you look at the United States, you look at Canada, you look at New Zealand, look at of course the United Kingdom, you look at these other nations, you can't find one that's anti-Israel. They're all pro-Israel. And it's this one that not let me know, because I don't, I haven't seen them. They're all pro-Israel. Now, I had people in those nations that spout anti-Israel nonsense, but the nations, the people, are pro-Israel. So that's something to look at and to be happy about. The EU is going to turn on Israel, and they're pro-Arab, they're pro-Muslim. So this is a time of celebration and rejoicing. All English-speaking people who have a common bond with the King James Bible celebrate the fact that the United Kingdom now is a free people, and broken away from a tyrannical, wicked, evil system that is against freedom, individual freedom. No accountability. Remember, the American Revolution was fought because there was no individual accountability. Same reasons. The fact is that no one votes for these guys to be president. That's what Farage was pointing out. Says, who elected these guys? Who are these guys? You get up there, the presidents, No accountability. That's what the American Revolution was about. That's why the British eventually had to go to a Commonwealth status and allowed individual localized system of representation if they were still going to stay among be linked to the British system, but they'd be localized. The Americans always had that. They always had a localized system of government, and they said, we're governing ourselves. And the British had this intention to try to treat us as colonies. And that's what the EU is treating the British as, and the rest of these nations, as colonies, as an overriding super state. And the British saw that and said, we're not having any of that. It's going to be accountability. We're going to hold our people accountable who we elect. There's no accountability to these people who no one elects, they just appoint. It's a big bureaucracy. So it's a time of great celebration and rejoicing for all free people. Those who are defending staying in the EU hate freedom. And people are the doomers and gloomers. Oh, the Brits are going to suffer for this and that. It's not going to suffer. They're going to boom. The economy is going to boom. They now have they now have the ability to make their own decisions as a free people. And the Union Jack is going to represent them. Imagine when Farage made his last speech and that woman up there in the EU, go see on YouTube, and he had the waving the Union Jack. Stop that! Stop that! You nuts. So even these people are. So let's all join today's great day of celebration, January 31st. It's town month of July 4th in the United States. And we look for a closer alliance with the United Kingdom and growth and more trade and more intimacy and union with English-speaking people based on a common ancestry and our language and our culture and our love for freedom and the one Bible. One Bible unites the English-speaking people, the King James Bible, and that's a link, as a subtle, hidden link, but it's the strongest link you could think of. It's a spiritual link, and you can take that King James Bible to any of these countries, the English-speaking people, Canada, New Zealand, United States, United Kingdom, anywhere. And people say, oh yeah, we saw the people swearing in the United Kingdom, they're swearing on the King James Bible. What Bible? What do you want to swear on? Oh, the King James Bible, that's the Bible. So freedom-loving people rejoice today, along with the people in England and Great Britain. Pretty funny, these people in Scotland. They want to be free from Britain, but they want to be enslaved to the EU. Nuts. They voted to stay with Britain. They had a referendum, right? We want our freedom. We want to go back into the EU. That EU is eventually becoming a massive slave state, believe me. And that's why there's so much now turmoil in that and a fight against it. But England had the strength and power. Of course, they said Italy, he was just going to it, but United Kingdom, you see how hard it was to get away, to break away from the EU. But it's done now. Fortunately, we got the right leader in there, Boris Johnson. Hopefully, the leadership with Boris Johnson and President Trump are going to be like it was with Thatcher and Reagan. A great unity there. So rejoice today. Rejoice today, January 31st, and celebrate a day of freedom. We see everything trending the other way. This is a beacon of light, where the British people stood up and said enough is enough. And it was peaceful. just peaceful, just like their peaceful revolution when they switched the issue of the monarchies. They had in the 17th century they switched over, and that was a peaceful revolution, which is unique in history. So that's something to rejoice in. But we rejoice with our cousins and Americans. We consider all English-speaking people our cousins. We come from the same ancestry. We share many traditions. We've had our squabbles, our differences. We can't understand what you're talking about half the time with your language. What are you guys talking about? You need to learn English. But we love you. We love the Brits. We love the New Zealanders. We love the Australians. We pray for the Australians. We suffer along with you. See, guys, with the fires over there. We suffer along with them. They're great people. We had 3 firefighters die over there. One of them was a Marine, because I saw Marine Blues and went over there. We're always gonna have a link with you guys. And Canada has no fortifications in Canada. No wall needed for Canada. So this is a great day for rejoicing, for British, for English-speaking people. I know the British don't think we speak English. For English-speaking people all around the world, that our cousins have broken away from a tyrannical state, the EU, and hopefully the whole rotten system will collapse. Because it was never built, the EU was never put into existence as a political system to have its own army and flag and anthem. It was made just for trade. And that's how the Brits went into it. Now, it was more of a trading system. But it just ballooned up into this massive political system that needs now to be just dissolved and wiped out. And hopefully other nations in there will break away based on their own cultural, national distinctions. But as Americans, as New Zealanders, as Australians, as Canadians, if I'm leaving anybody out, let us all rejoice today with our British cousins. Just like the Liberty Bell, and the Americans with the Liberty Bell. Let freedom ring out. Today is a day for freedom. To rejoice in freedom for the British people. Amen. Thank you.